Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to talk about 10 ways that the coaching industry is keeping you small. So if you are a coach, a course creator, a healer, you've been in these coaching circles, you've been in these coaching spaces, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to pinpoint some things that I have noticed throughout the years that really keep people playing small and have limited thinking simply because they are inundated with the smoke and mirrors of the coaching industry. So I have been a coach for 12 years. I have been in this industry the entire time. I have worked with thousands of clients. I have invested 7 figures of my own money. I have generated over $5 million in online course sales. So I know what it's like to make money online. And not just that, but actually create a business that can sustain the test of time. We're talking about over a decade at this point. So I have, like I said, worked with literally thousands of people. So I see what works. I see what doesn't. I have observed who are the people that are really taking off and making tons of money, and who are the people that have been spinning their wheels for literally years. And why does this happen? So this is what we're going to talk about in today's episode. I really hope you stay with me and enjoy this. And I also would love for you to leave a comment below if any of these resonate. I'm going to assume that if you have been in the industry for 5+ years, that a lot of this stuff is going to resonate with you. If you have seen the rise of the COVID era coaches and you've kind of been like, wow, this industry has literally changed. It absolutely has. It's almost like it changed overnight. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2013. And while every year there was some kind of upgrade, some kind of change, some kind of shift in the industry, within the last 18 months or so, I would say that these shifts and these changes have happened extremely rapidly. And if you want to stay in the game, and if you want to continue to thrive online, or maybe this is your last push, like, I don't understand what's going on, but I need to make this work. The things that I'm sharing with you in this video are going to be things that you're going to want to watch out for as you proceed, as you execute, as you make decisions in your business, and as you really put yourself out there as not just a business owner, but also a personal brand. So we're not going to get into that specific change in this video. I will do another video that is a little bit more on how the industry has kind of moved from coaching and support to really being about who your personal brand and your personality can attract into your world, and then that being a marker of success for you. So let's go ahead and dive into the number one way that the coaching industry keeps you small. So the first one is demonizing competition. So I know that us being in the spiritual world and really into personal development and professional development, we're kind of in this mindset of there is no competition. Everybody is collaborating and everyone is putting themselves out there, and we're all supporting each other, and girl power and women supporting women. I mean, I know that you guys have seen this. And while I'm not against that stuff, I do believe that a little bit of healthy competition will take you a long way. This isn't just a personality contest. This isn't just about how popular you can be. This is about creating a business that is going to be long lasting and sustainable. And if you kind of ride this mediocrity wave, which is another one of the things that I feel keeps you small in this industry, you're always going to be there. You're never going to reach those heights. So if you're someone that wants greatness, if you're someone that wants excellence, a little bit of healthy competition, there is nothing wrong with it. It actually will elevate you. It will actually get you thinking. It will actually get you expanding your mind about what's possible. I know when I started 12 years ago, I was looking at other women and I wasn't necessarily looking at them like, oh, this woman's my competition and I need to be catty with this woman. But it was more of this idea of, wow, this person can do that. I can totally do that, right? Like, I'm just as smart. I am just as talented. I am just as resourceful as this person. So don't demonize competition. I do believe that collaboration does happen at the top, but I also do believe in having a little bit of healthy competition to elevate you, to get you outside of your comfort zone, and to inspire you to do that next big thing. The second thing will be the downfall of most business owners if they don't get this thing straightened out. And it's burying your head in the sand around money and finances in your business. So, again, I have been in the industry for a long time. I have invested a lot of my hard earned money into coaches, into mentors, into courses. And it boggles my mind that of the business coaches that I've hired, none of them ever spoke about the actual financial pieces of running a business. They didn't talk about accounting. They didn't talk about taxes. It's all about how much money I made this month. It's all about revenue versus profit. It's all about let me just make as much money as possible or make as many sales as possible so that I can brag about this to my online friends. At least that's the way that it comes across. A real business understands their finances. A real business understands accounting. They understand the difference between profit and revenue. And they aren't just trying to make a buck so that they could win some sort of online dick measuring contest, if you will. So if you fall into that category, don't feel bad. It's probably not your fault because a lot of these business coaches are really focused on marketing and sales and launching, and they don't get into the nitty gritty of what it takes to build an actual business that is going to be sustainable, that is going to be long lasting, and that is really going to support you through and through. Side note, if you are looking for a business coach that is going to go deep with you on all of the aspects of your business and not just marketing and not just sales, my one-on-one consulting is open. Now, to kind of piggyback off of the last one, number 3 is ignoring legal, compliance, accounting, and all of the things that a real business requires. Again, it amazes me that people are throwing their life savings at business coaches that don't even know how to run a legitimate, real business. Do you have your business entity set up correctly? Do you have contracts in place? Are you legally compliant on your website with your terms and conditions and with your return policies? I know that these are the unsexy things when it comes to business, but these are all things that are really required to build something that is sustainable and long lasting. And that will really honestly put you in the next level of business owner, not just some content influencer. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. All right, let's switch lanes a little bit and talk about number 4, which is this idea that you must do it all yourself. I remember when I first started, being a solopreneur was all the rage. Like people literally wore this as a badge of honor. Like I can do it all myself. I don't need a VA. I don't need an assistant. I don't need support in my business. I don't need to delegate anything. I'm just going to be, again, this kind of content hamster where you're just pumping out things with no strategy. You are creating things with no long-term vision in terms of where this thing is going to take you, but you're just doing and doing and doing, and that becomes the badge of honor. I've been consistent. I show up every day. I'm visible all the time. I've made my stories. I've made my carousels. There is so many things that require your attention when it comes to creating a business that people actually want to do business with. There's certain things that need to be in place in your business, just like we talked about in the previous points here. But this idea that you can and or should do it on your own will keep you small. I literally always say that you can hustle your way to 6 figures. Anybody can hustle their way to 6 figures. It's really not a lot of money. But if you want to hit these very consistent 300, 400, $500,000 years, if you have $1 million visions, if you have these grand lifestyle visions, you being in this rat race of doing everything yourself is going to stunt your growth and keep you exactly where you're at. So if you're currently experiencing that, my advice is to get support in some way, shape, or form. Now, I am also not a big advocate of having a huge team. I don't think it's necessary, but I do feel like it is required for you to have some sort of support, a VA, an assistant, somebody that you can have on call to do these menial tasks in your business that, frankly, you shouldn't be doing. Think about a restaurant owner. Do you believe that that person is going to cook your food, serve your meals, clean up after the meals, print out your check, bring you up? They're not doing any of that stuff. They may not even be stepping foot in the restaurant that day. And I want you to really think about your business from that perspective, not pulling out from the things that you actually need to be involved in, like the actual content creation, supporting your clients, creating the courses and things like that, but all of these menial tasks and mundane things that have to be done throughout the day. One of my incredible mentors used to say to me, things have to be done in your business, but they don't have to be done by you. I hope this also sticks with you. And let's move on to number 5. Now, this is one that I have definitely fallen victim to. And I'm going to say victim here just because I didn't know any better at the time. And I've literally made coaching my entire identity. This is a slippery slope. And I feel that this is something that you want to get away from if you are currently experiencing that. And here's what I mean. Just because you are a coach or are a healer or are a course creator, that does not mean that this is your entire identity. It does not mean that this is the only thing that you measure your worth, your success, and your value by. And I did that. And what happens is that when things don't go your way, as you know, being in business for over 10 years, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be back and forth. There's going to be times where you want to burn your business to the ground. There's going to be times that are excellent and amazing. And when you tie yourself to this identity of this is who you are, it gets really scary at some points because without that, who are you? So I have shifted my thought process to not that I am a coach and I'm only a coach and everything that I do relates back to that, but that I am a badass businesswoman who has a coaching business. This is just one part and one piece of my greatness. This is just one part and one piece of all of the things that I'm meant to do in this world. So definitely, if you are feeling a lot of pressure around tying your value to who you are in the world, you're going to want to do some inner work when it comes to this. The next one may be just as scary and just as risky and just as dangerous as the last. And it's being wrapped up in this month to month identity. This is just essentially where you are in a rat race every single month. You start every month at 0. You're on this race. How many sales can I make? How much money can I make? Can I hit my goal this month? And you're beaming towards that. And then it doesn't happen. Or maybe it does, but there's no consistency to it. And because you're in this like 30-day continuous rat race, it starts to get draining. It starts to get really exhausting. And just like the previous point of making coaching your identity or healing your identity, you have pretty much put yourself in this income roller coaster where nothing is ever good enough. Where if you don't hit that goal that month, it must mean something about you. Where if you don't make as much money as you did 2 months ago, that means something about you. Where you are in constant comparison to other people who are doing things similar to you. Like I said, this is very dangerous. And it's definitely a trap that you get into because of the constant conditioning, because of people that are constantly out there saying, I've made X amount of dollars in 30 days. I've had my biggest month ever. And while I love the celebrations, that is not the end all be all for you. That is not an indicator of your value. And we make it so. And so you can literally feel yourself on this loop of trying to get somewhere, right? And when you get there, it's great and it feels amazing. But when you don't, it starts to tear away at you. Not only that, but as a real business owner, as someone that wants to do big things in this world, that is not the vision. We don't have short-sighted vision of how much money can I make this month? How many sales can I make this month? Rather, the vision is longer. It's 6 months down the line. It's a year down the line, 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line. And are the actions and the decisions and the things that I'm doing today matching up with that long-term vision that I have for myself? And when you get into the short-term vision, you are going to be constantly on this roller coaster. And at some point, it's not going to be fun anymore. And so I encourage you and implore you to really start thinking longer term. I know that it might be difficult, especially if you are in a place where you need to make money, right? You need to make money to pay these bills. You need to make money to pay this coach. And obviously, expenses are done on a monthly basis. So I get it. But you also can get how this can be very dangerous in your business. Now, in the next couple of points, I'm going to talk about something that may help you with that piece. But for now, let's move on to number 7. So number 7 is attacking people for being salesy or selling too much. Really take a look at this. Step back from your coaching identity, your healing identity, your course creator identity, and think about any other business in the world. Every business that I know, every $1 million corporation, $1 billion corporation sells every day. And guess what? You love it. You love being sold to. So why is somebody in the coaching industry, in personal development, in professional development, in healing demonized for selling? This is what businesses do. If you are a legitimate business, you need to sell in some way, shape, or form every single day. The way that I teach my clients is to have multiple different points and multiple different things set up so that even if you take a day off, you still have sales coming in. If you want to hear more about that, just comment below and let me know that you want to hear how I have my clients set up to be able to make sales every day, even if they're not on every day. So back to being salesy. I don't even know where this concept came from, but it's been around for a really long time because I remember it in 2013 and 2014. It was like the huge thing of like, I don't want to be salesy, or I don't want people to think I'm selling to them. Well, what do you think is happening? You are a business. You have a service. Some of you may have a product. You need to tell people about that product. You need to tell people about your service, or else you won't have a business. You need to sell. You need to make sales. And if you have any kind of doubt, fear, worry, or negative emotions around selling, I can guarantee you that you're not going to last in this business or any business. Selling is the lifeblood of your business. So if we take sales away or demonize sales, then you're just going to stay right where you're at. And if you don't like that place, chances are you won't have a business in a few years. Now, this is something that I haven't really thought about until I actually just started explaining it right now. And I actually feel that there is a possibility that some coaches and some mentors do this on purpose to kind of keep you small. Because I don't understand why someone, especially in the personal and professional development space, would want you to not sell, or would make selling a negative thing when every other business owner knows that sales is the crux of your entire business. If not, you just have a hobby. And if you just want a hobby, and if you just want a side gig, you can do that. I'm not the mentor for you if that's what you want, but you can do that for sure. Lots of people do that. But if you want to build something great, if you want to build something long lasting, if you want to build something sustainable, then you need to stop demonizing sales. Now, this next one, I know I'm probably going to get a lot of heat for. And as I stated, like I've been doing this for a long time. Things have changed. Things have changed in my business. Things have changed in how I operate in my business. So whereas I used to think certain things, or I used to believe certain things worked, and they did, they don't anymore. Like I stated before, the last 18 months, things have shifted so rapidly that if you're not keeping up with the changes, you will absolutely be left behind. And this is not fear mongering, this is telling the truth. Because a lot of people just want to take your money. A lot of people just want to make you feel good so that you whip out the wallet and you invest in them. But I'm going to be the person that tells you the truth. And when you're ready, you can invest in coaching that is actually going to take your business to the next level, that is actually going to create a sustainable and reliable business. So back to this next one. It is about all organic everything. Again, this is something that I feel like was so easy back in the day. Back in 2015, 2016, maybe even 2017, it was really easy to get seen online. There wasn't a whole lot of people online. The algorithm was so different. Platforms were different. How we interacted, how we bought was so different. So it was actually very easy to be able to go into a Facebook group or to be able to put something on even Instagram or your business Facebook page and get a lot of interest, get a lot of engagement, get a lot of people making sales. And people have clung on to this idea of all organic everything. Again, they've even demonized advertising. Like, this doesn't make sense to me. Every single business in the entire world advertises in some way. My dad was a mechanic. He's retired now, but he even advertised his business on a menu in the local diner. So there's so many different forms of advertising, right? And every single business does it. For God's sakes, when I was watching the Super Bowl just a few weeks ago, there was a Charmin toilet paper commercial. Why was there a toilet paper commercial when everybody in the whole world uses toilet paper? We know we need toilet paper, right? Everybody knows they need toilet paper. So why would a company and an industry that everyone already knows that they need be advertising? This is the mindset of a lot of coaches and a lot of people in the spiritual industry and a lot of healers. It's that I must do everything organic. I must just post on my social media. I must just make an Instagram reel, or I must just jump on this new platform while simultaneously shouting how much money they've made without advertising. Well, if you can make that much money without advertising, just imagine how much money you can make with advertising. Just imagine how many people you can reach with advertising outside of just organic, which isn't even what it used to be before, where your reach is so incredibly low. The chances of you going viral are so slim. And the people that you see that are crushing it and killing it and doing their damn thing, that's about 1% of people. For 99% of everybody else, that is not the reality. And I'm sure that you have experienced that. So please switch that mindset from organic only and organic everything to start to think about other ways that you can get in front of more people. Advertising being one of those things. And it is just crazy to me because this whole video is about how the coaching industry keeps you small. And if there was any other way besides the ones that I've already given you, this keeps you the smallest. I mean, literally think about it. You're literally being conditioned and told not to reach as many people as you actually could reach, to settle for 1% or 5% of people potentially seeing you, to be in this place of, oh, well, the right person is going to see me. It's my energy, it's my frequency. And yes, I believe in that stuff. But when it comes to business, you need a strategy. When it comes to business, you need to be intentional. All right, let's get to the last two here. And this one is actually really going to help you if you are in that cycle of the month-to-month identity, which, as I mentioned before, is a very dangerous place for your business to be. So this next one is acting like a martyr when it comes to having your clients pay you either with a credit card or take out a loan. Now, here's the thing. We don't want to convince people to do that. We don't want to walk people through their objections necessarily. But if someone is resourceful and if someone has the capacity and has the means to do so, what's wrong with that? Do you realize that, again, every other business in the entire world has loans, has credit cards, has lines of credit. This is how businesses are built. Even rich people borrow other people's money. This is something that I really wish I understood in the very beginning of my business before I spent all of my hard-earned money in investing when I could have gotten support and I could have gotten help from the government, from investors, from loans, from credit cards. It would have helped me elevate my business faster. It would have helped me elevate my business in a way that was more aligned versus when the money came into my account, that was the only money that I used. So I did everything in cash. And I really feel like that stunted a lot of my growth and the trajectory of my business. Now, I can see this thinking when it comes to someone who has a regular job, who gets maybe a 50-cent raise once a year, and who has no way to get themselves out of debt if they do borrow money or if they do get an investor. But that's not what we're talking about here, because we are all entrepreneurs. We are all people that are business owners. And there are literally government programs, the SBA, where you can get a loan for your business, whether that is to invest in team, whether that is to invest in branding, whether that is to invest in advertising. It is available to you. There is an entire department dedicated to supporting and giving money out to businesses. Why would it exist if it wasn't meant to be used? The same thing with credit lines, credit cards, investors. Hello, Shark Tank. I know we've all watched Shark Tank. And if you actually listen to the conversations that are being had, these people are spending their own money. They are borrowing money from families, and then they're going on a show and asking to borrow even more money from an investor. This is how business works. Again, the coaching industry just doesn't even want you to realize that or see that because it wants to keep you small. You want to really start thinking about yourself as a real business person and your business as not just a hobby or a side hustle or some way that you can make some extra money, but as a real business. Even in other businesses, such as brick and mortar businesses, people take out loans. Do you think that, Sally over there is using her personal debit card to buy equipment for her kitchen or chairs and tables for her coffee shop? Absolutely not. Even when you think about a franchise, franchises are upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars, money that most people don't have just sitting around in their bank. So what do? They borrow money or they get investors. And if you want to start thinking about your business in a real, legitimate way, you want to start to think like this as well. Now, I'm not telling you to be reckless and go out there and just borrow all the money and never pay it back. That is not what I'm talking about at all. But what I'm talking about is when you are ready and you know that something is going to elevate your business, grow your business, expand your business, you are resourceful enough to figure out how to make that happen financially. And the final way the coaching industry keeps you small is by demonizing changes, technological advances like AI, and ignoring the rapid transformation that's happening within your industry. Now, I am definitely calling out you OGs who have been doing this for a long time, that see new platforms come up, that see things like AI come up. And instead of embracing it and leveraging it to your advantage, you demonize it. Yes, I know. I have used that word a lot in this video, but it is the appropriate word, because instead of embracing the changes, instead of saying, how can I use this thing that is powerful, that is not going away anytime soon? How can I use that to elevate my business? You're thinking, how can I get away with not using that? What is like, why do I need to use that thing? This isn't good. You're doing everything in your power to avoid it, to avoid using it, to avoid leveraging it in your business. And this is a huge mistake. It's what I said in the very beginning of the video, that the rapid changes are here. There is no denying it. So to be someone who is an AI denier, to be someone who is anti-change, it's not going to get you very far in business. Again, I've worked with thousands and thousands of people, and I know and I see who the successful people were, the decisions that they made, how they operated in their business, how they operated in their life, and why they were able to skyrocket when someone who was doing something very similar wasn't. So we need to embrace the changes. We need to, as things come along, I say roll with the punches. Roll with the punches. How can you use this thing in your business? How can you leverage it? And honestly, how can you make money from it? There's so many people that, especially when it comes to AI, they are just like anti-AI. They don't want anything to do with it. They will say that it's fake, that it's not real. And newsflash, we know it's not real. But also, it is here and it's here to stay. It's not just some passing trend. It is something that if you don't embrace, you absolutely will be left behind, especially in this industry. I honestly believe that it is an incredible tool. I joke and tell people that if I had had AI in my business when I started in 2013, that I would literally be a billionaire by now. With a B, yes, a billionaire, because of how powerful this tool is and because of how much I understand the tool. I didn't demonize it. I didn't say, oh my gosh, this is going to replace me as a business coach. People aren't going to need my copywriting skills because they can have AI do it, or people aren't going to need me anymore because AI can do everything. I didn't think that way. I thought, wow, what an incredible tool. How can I use this to make even more money? How can I get people on board with this thing that is literally going to change your business and literally change the entire industry as well? So maybe I'll do another separate video on how I am incorporating AI into my business and how I'm already making money using AI. But that was number 10, and it is to embrace the changes. Don't shy away from the changes, because if you shy away from the changes, you're just going to stay exactly where you're at. You're going to stay small. And apparently, this is what the industry wants for you. So if you are ready to break free, if you want something more elevated, if you want support that's more holistic in terms of really getting into the nitty gritty of what is required to have a business that lasts 12 years. Yes, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back because most people don't even last 1 year in their business. But you got to have the foundation set up correctly. You have to have the right identity. You have to be going about things in a very intentional way and a very strategic way. So if you want a real one on your side, I'm going to put the link here below on ways that we can work together to elevate your business, to elevate your brand, and to get you in a place where your foundations are so solid that you can depend and rely on the income in your business, but you can also start to soar even past where you currently are so that you can start to live that lifestyle that you've always wanted to live, so that you're not left behind when everybody else is soaring right past you in income and impact. So if you're ready to make power moves in your business, I'm going to put the link below for how we can work together to do exactly that. Thank you for watching my video. If you have any suggestions, if you want me to go deeper on any of these 10 things, or share more about how I'm using AI in my business, just leave a comment for me below. Make sure you hit the like button so that I can get the support and understand what you want to hear more about. And I thank you for your time and for being here with me today. I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.